How did a building become a battleground for religion, empire, and prophecy? The Hagia Sophia is more than just a dome, it's a blueprint of power, built to glorify one empire and claimed by the next. This structure has flipped religions, rewritten maps, and stirred sacred tensions for over 1,500 years. And through it all, it still stands. But there's more than just marble and mosaic. Beneath its golden dome lies secrets, buried by emperors, whispered by mystics, and carved into geometry most people never notice. Hi, I'm James, but online I go by Andrade. In this series I travel sometimes in person, sometimes through deep dives like this, to the world's most iconic and enigmatic landmarks. As I sketch them live, this one in watercolor, we uncover not just their architecture and history, but also their hidden symbols, strange legends, and even the conspiracies that make them truly unforgettable. And the Hagia Sophia is layered with all of it. From Roman cathedrals to Islamic mosques to modern political flashpoints, this is the ultimate survivor of civilizations. Let's explore how it came to be. The Hagia Sophia was commissioned in 532 CE by Emperor Justinian I, just days after the devastating Nika riots reduced much of Constantinople to ash. Determined to restore imperial glory, Justinian demanded not just a church, but the church. He appointed two mathematicians, Anthemus of Tralles and Isidore of Miletus, rather than traditional architects, pushing boundaries of structure and imagination. In under 6 years, they built what would become the largest cathedral in the world for nearly 1,000 years. Its massive 102-foot dome, suspended seemingly in defiance of gravity, was a feat of early Byzantine engineering and a statement of divine imperial power. For over 900 years, the Hagia Sophia served as the central cathedral of Eastern Orthodox Christianity. It was the seat of the Patriarch of Constantinople and the spiritual heart of the Byzantine Empire. Church's name means holy wisdom, referring to the second person of the Trinity rather than a saint. Religious ceremonies here were legendary, lavish, mystical, drenched in incense and gold light. When the Fourth Crusade sacked Constantinople in 1204, the cathedral was looted and temporarily converted into a Roman Catholic church, only to be reclaimed by the Orthodox in 1261. Even in ruin and conflict, its spiritual gravity remained undeniable. In 1453, Constantinople fell to the Ottoman Turks, and Sultan Mehmed II immediately converted Hagia Sophia into a mosque. Rather than destroy it, the Ottomans preserved much of the structure, adding minarets and mihrab pointing toward Mecca, and removing or plastering over Christian mosaics. This marked the building's second life, now central to Islamic prayer and power for the next 500 years. Hagia Sophia stood as one of the most important mosques in the Islamic world. The Ottomans also reinforced the structure with exterior buttresses, ensuring its survival through the earthquakes that toppled much of the old city. In 1935, after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, Turkey's secular reformer Mustafa Kemal Atatürk transformed Hagia Sophia into a museum. The decision was meant to unify the country's diverse religious factions under a modern secular identity. Christian mosaics were uncovered, Islamic elements preserved, and the building became a symbol of pluralism. For decades, it stood as an architectural and spiritual time capsule visited by millions, studied by scholars, and admired by artists. But this secular phase didn't last forever. In 2020, the Turkish government reconverted Hagia Sophia into an active mosque, reigniting global debate. While Muslim prayers now resume beneath its dome, the Christian mosaics are veiled during worship, raising concerns about cultural preservation. Some see this shift as reclaiming a sacred light, others see it as erasure. Today, Hagia Sophia sits at the crossroads of faith, nationalism, tourism, and geopolitics. It is no longer just a building, it's a mirror of civilization's fault lines. And yet, in its walls, you can still hear the echoes of choirs, the call to prayer, and the silent awe of travelers from every corner of the world. Let's talk about the dome that defies logic. The central feature of Hagia Sophia's architecture is its immense dome, over 100 feet in diameter and seemingly weightless. It floats above the nave like a celestial disc. What's remarkable is that it doesn't rest on solid walls, but on four pendentives, curved triangular supports that transition the weight from the circular dome to the square base below. This design was revolutionary for its time and inspired centuries of dome structures, including St. Peter's Basilica and the Blue Mosque. Even modern architects admit the geometry feels more like mathematics under divine influence than anything purely human. One of the most haunting features of the Hagia Sophia is its treatment of light. 40 arched windows surround the base of the dome, making it appear to float on a ring of sunlight. As dawn and dusk pass through these windows, shadows ripple across marble floors and golden mosaics shimmer to life. The effect is not accidental, it is engineered to create a feeling of transcendence in both Christian and Islamic traditions. Light symbolizes the presence of God. In Hagia Sophia, it feels like you're walking inside a beam of heaven itself. Hagia Sophia's interior is a dance of contrasts, massive yet airy, symmetrical yet chaotic, sacred yet contested. Its marble columns, some repurposed from ancient temples, soar upward like a forest of stone. Walls are sheathed in polychrome marble panels, some cracked with age, others gleaming. Gold mosaics of Christ and the Virgin Mary sit across from intricate Arabic calligraphy, creating a living collage of faiths. The building doesn't erase its history, it layers it. Every inch is a palimpsest, a written over memory, still whispering beneath the new. Despite earthquakes, fires, crusades, and regime changes, Hagia Sophia still stands. Ottomans added buttresses and structural reinforcements while modern engineers continuously monitor its seismic health. The dome collapsed and was rebuilt more than once in the early centuries, and each repair became a chance to learn. Hagia Sophia is not perfect, but it is resilient. Its scars are part of its story, and its survival makes it more than architecture. It becomes a witness. Hagia Sophia didn't just influence sacred architecture, it rewired architectural ambition itself. It became the prototype for Ottoman mosques across Istanbul and for Orthodox churches across Eastern Europe. The grandeur of the Russian Orthodox churches and even modern civic buildings like Capitol domes owe a conceptual debt to this monument. Hagia Sophia is a blueprint not just for how to build, but for how to dream. The dome of Hagia Sophia was more than architectural genius. It was a cosmic symbolism. Byzantine architects envisioned it as the vault of heaven itself. Inside, the dome appears to hover, weightless, suspended between the earthly and divine. In Orthodox Christian tradition, domes symbolize the sky, the universe, and the presence of the divine descending upon worshippers. Standing beneath it, you weren't just attending church, you were entering the cosmos. The layout of Hagia Sophia reflects the sacred numerical symbolism. The nave is a perfect rectangle, 100 Byzantine feet long by 70 feet wide, an intentional use of 10 and 7, both seen as holy numbers. The central dome's 40 windows match the 40 days of Christ's fasting. These were not aesthetic decisions alone, they were encoded theology into stone, embodying the harmony between heaven and earth. The name Hagia Sophia translates not into a saint's name, but to holy wisdom, the divine logos or word of God. This is a deeper layer of symbology. Early mosaics of the Virgin Mary and Christ reinforce this idea that this space is not just a church, it's a vessel for divine revelation. The Sophia, often depicted as feminine wisdom, may be hidden in plain sight, a sacred protective force embodied in the architecture. When the Ottomans converted the building into a mosque, they didn't destroy its past, they layered over it. Enormous circular medallions were installed, inscribing with Arabic calligraphy the names of Allah, the Prophet Muhammad, and the first caliphs. These symbols of Islamic infinity and divinity were placed opposite Christian mosaics, creating a tension and a balance between two spiritual worlds. This isn't just history, it's visual theology and conversation. Perhaps the most haunting symbol is what's not there. Hagia Sophia has no pews, no single altar now, no obvious center. It's vast and open, like a void that invites presence. In both Christian mysticism and Sufi philosophy, the empty space becomes the place of encounter. It is this emptiness that many visitors describe as most powerful, a stillness that transcends language, a silence that listens back. Returning to construction, the construction on Hagia Sophia began in 532 AD, commissioned by Emperor Justinian, after the previous basilica burned during the Nika riots. Determined to create a church that rivaled even Solomon's temple, Justinian employed the two mathematicians, not traditional architects, named Anthemus of Tralles and Isidore of Miletus. In just 5 years, they raised the monumental dome, flanked by half-domes and towering columns, a feat almost unheard of at the time. Legend says Justinian entered the completed church and declared, "Solomon, I have surpassed you." Despite its grandeur, the Hagia Sophia's dome has been its Achilles heel. The original dome collapsed just 20 years after completion during an earthquake in 558. A second version, taller and steeper, was rebuilt by Isidore the Younger, but earthquakes would continue to crack and shift the structure for centuries. Each era brought new repairs, reinforcements, and even design tweaks, turning Hagia Sophia into a living document of seismic survival. In 1453, Constantinople fell to the Ottomans, and Sultan Mehmed II converted Hagia into a mosque. Minarets were added, mosaics plastered over, a mihrab installed facing Mecca. But unlike many conquerors, Mehmed preserved the building's bones. Later, Ottoman sultans reinforced the dome and added buttresses to stabilize it further, turning Hagia Sophia into an architectural hybrid of Christian basilica and Islamic mosque. By the 19th century, centuries of wear had left Hagia Sophia dangerously unstable. Water seeped through cracked bricks, mosaics peeled, and walls bowed. Sultan Abdul Majid enlisted the Swiss-Italian Fossati brothers to lead a massive restoration in the 1840s. They uncovered long-hidden mosaics, reinforced the dome again, and documented everything they saw, leaving behind one of the most detailed records of the cathedral mosque's interior. Declared a museum in 1935 under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, Hagia Sophia became a secular monument. Conservation efforts turned to preserving both Christian and Islamic elements, but in 2020 it was controversially reconverted into a mosque, sparking global debate. Restoration work now continues under new guidelines, but fears remain. Will modern political interests override the need for a balanced preservation, or will Hagia Sophia continue its strange dance between reverence, ruin, and rebirth? Hagia Sophia isn't just a building, it's an idea. For nearly 1,500 years, it stood as the largest enclosed space on Earth, a structure so mathematically bold and artistically lavish that it challenged what architecture could be. Its massive dome, floating seemingly weightless above open air, was seen as divine intervention, a miracle of engineering as much as faith. To Eastern Orthodox Christians, Hagia Sophia is a spiritual heart of Byzantium, a holy space infused with the legacy of ecumenical patriarchate. To Muslims, it represents a turning point in Ottoman history, the moment when the East truly met West under a single crescent moon. To secular humanists, it's a beacon of shared cultural heritage, a museum that once welcomed all. But these overlapping meanings often clash, and that tension has come to define the building as much as its bricks and mosaics. The design of Hagia Sophia reshaped architecture globally. Its central dome, resting on pendatives, influenced everything from the Blue Mosque and the Süleymaniye in Istanbul to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, and even the United States Capitol. It introduced a visual and spiritual blueprint, suggesting that heavenly light and physical form could work in tandem to elevate the human spirit. Throughout history, whoever controlled Hagia Sophia controlled more than stone. They controlled the narrative. Byzantine empires used it to proclaim God's favor. Ottoman sultans turned it into a symbol of conquest. In the 20th century, it became a secular icon for Ataturk's modern Turkey. And in 2020, its reconversion into a mosque reignited global conversations about identity, nationalism, and religious freedom. More than any one tradition, Hagia Sophia represents convergence of East and West, science and mysticism, preservation and erosion, belief and politics. It's a space where marble whispers, light dances, and silence speaks louder than words. To stand beneath its dome, to feel the stretch of history pulling at your skin, reminding you that beauty, like empires, can both crumble and endure. Some say that the dome of the Hagia Sophia is more than architectural genius. It's a portal. Esoteric theorists and mystics have long believed that the dome's impossible weightlessness and divine acoustics weren't just design miracles, but an intentional manipulation of sacred harmonics. Echoes inside of the dome sometimes return in strange intervals, described as voices without breath. fueling speculation that the structure sits on a natural geomantic ley line, a hotspot for spiritual and dimensional activity. Whispers of an underground chamber, sealed off and protected for centuries, persist among conspiracy researchers. Some claim the chamber holds a Byzantine throne said to grant divine vision to whoever sits upon it. Others believe it houses scrolls from the Library of Constantinople, rescued before its destruction. Encoded with forgotten rituals and forbidden knowledge, these vaults, if real, are beneath the mihrab, where Christian and Islamic axes mysteriously align. The dome's corner rests a seraphim mosaic, 4 wings spread wide, but one face is missing. Deliberately plastered over, legend says this was done not out of iconoclasm, but to conceal an angelic being with an open third eye, whose gaze induced trance-like visions in early pilgrims. Modern remote viewers and clairvoyants have allegedly seen the face beneath, and all report slightly different descriptions, each growing more alien. Hagia Sophia is packed with geometric symbolism, octagons, circles, and repeating golden ratios. Some claim the dome acts as a harmonic antenna, amplifying specific frequencies, especially the 8 Hz frequency said to be the Earth's natural electromagnetic resonance. Could it be that Hagia Sophia wasn't just a place of worship, but an energy temple engineered to tune human consciousness into cosmic rhythms? Ottoman mystics whispered of a jinn gate behind the main altar, an invisible veil through which non-human intelligences could pass through during specific lunar alignments. Folklore says that during full moons, strange shadows dart across the walls, not cast by candlelit or tourists, but by beings that walk sideways. Maintenance workers today still report chills, odd noises, and the uncanny sensation of being watched, especially near the old baptistry. Perhaps the most unsettling theory that Hagia Sophia itself is alive. Some believe it holds a consciousness, built up from the energy of centuries of prayer, chants, rituals, and bloodshed. Visitors often report inexplicable emotion, weeping for no reason, sudden peace, or existential dread. One anonymous monk wrote, "It is as if the building remembers, and sometimes it lets you remember too." And that's the mystery, majesty, and madness of the Hagia Sophia, one of the most iconic and shape-shifting structures in all of human history. From imperial basilica to Ottoman mosque, from silent museum to mosque again, it's been reborn more times than most cities survive. And somehow it still stands, watching, whispering, remembering. If you felt something while watching this, an itch of wonder, maybe a sense of unease, then this series is for you, because I'm not just sketching landmarks, I'm uncovering what they may be hiding. If you would like to support this series and you'd like to grab a print of this piece or explore more behind the scenes art, please check out my Etsy shop at ondraw.etsy. Follow along for more esoteric sketching adventures on Instagram, TikTok, and if you want to go deeper into the fringe topics we barely scratched here, you know where to find me. I'll see you in the next one.